a priest being played as the first deck. Also, warrior is a pretty good choice versus shaman and hunter, I believe. Maybe not hunter, but shaman should be fine. So, yeah, we are going to have to see a very interesting game, a very interesting match between those two players. I'm hyped to see Amaz playing priest again.
It is, and he has these cards that can completely blow out the matchup sometimes if Xixo puts something like his Gorehowl out, and then Amaz Harrison Jones it. So that way he's able to get a lot of tempo, and all of a sudden removal becomes difficult for Xixo to establish. Maz is one of those players that also feels like Priest is favored in this matchup because it goes to fatigue and you can use a lot of the resources against them. You have Cabal Shadow Priest to steal their low attack minions. You have ways to heal their acolytes and really toy with them. In fact, half of his highlights on YouTube, I swear, is Priest against Warrior. If you kind of check it out, and we're gonna start.
So.
We're gonna start this game off, and Maz gets the Harrison, and he keeps in his opening hand for good reason.
Yeah, this is a pretty important card, and he also gets the Blade Master and Thought Steal, which is pretty nice. He doesn't have the coin, but still, Blade Master is pretty nice card to have as an early drop. He doesn't have the Pyromancer here, but playing versus Warrior, Pyromancer, I don't feel like it's that important as in other matchups. Here, he just wants to get all those mid-game cards. He wants to push the board with cards like Blade Master and just go for the win from there. Coining
Right.
Acolyte of Pain. Interesting play.
Wow, two quality cards to
Oh
Thought
my
Steal,
god.
Loteb and Sylvanas.
Wait,
Those
does
win
it
the
mean
control game so well.
this actually means that he has double Sylvanas and double Lotheb right now? Oh wait, he's not running he is running Lotheb. So he has double Lotheb, double Sylvanas thanks to that.
Not really a legendary anymore. Last time I checked.
I guess it improves his deck a lot. And how do you play around double Sylvanas and double Lotheb? That's tricky.
They'll never expect a second one or even third one if Amaz Thought steals yet again and takes it. Now, by the way, this execute was such an important draw for Xixo, so that way he could easily deal with it. Otherwise he had to kind of use things like Slam and his Fiery War Axe, but I guess instead he's going to choose for it anyways. No, it makes sense. Totally.
Do you think that this game will actually go to fatigue? Because basically, Priest versus Warrior mostly actually goes to fatigue. Oh my god, this is a Cabal Shadow Priest. This card will be so good at the later turns.
Definitely,
Really,
but for now, he still has to deal with this low depth that can continue to dominate the board. Yeah, just like we said, the Cabal Shadow Priest, you take the Armor Smiths, you take the Acolytes, you take the Undead Ghouls, and then they're yours.
even a token from the Sludge Vulture. It's also a cool target.
Okay.
I mean, it's something, right? You can attack with Lotheb into a 3/5, still keep your Lotheb on the board and steal the token. And then your board is pretty big. But on the other hand, you open yourself for a brawl next turn. So, I don't know. Do you play Sylvanas here?
You could also just continue to heal Lotheb and just completely pressure the warrior. He doesn't have armor, so armoring up is very difficult. And you can just heal up. So that way, again, you force him to have something like Execute instead of just Shield Slam or Shield Block Shield Slam, which is what Xixo did conveniently draw.
Double shield block.
There
Double
you go.
shield block, double shield slam. It looks sick. I guess this game will be pretty similar to the Paladin versus Priest game, where both players just trade blows, they heal, armor up, and they just try to exhaust the opponent's removal and play those big threats, which are removed again, and then they go to fatigue, and and the end happens pretty quickly with cards like Gromash or like Ragnaros. Kern is pretty important in Sixto's hand. It's a very good card versus the Priest, as we mentioned before when Amaz was playing versus Reels. And Amaz is playing a vanilla Sylvanas. Like, there's nothing on board.
Huh. So he's going to really try to maximize the value on Harrison Jones on something like Gorehowl. You know, sometimes it is painful to play the Harrison Jones preemptively and you feel like you don't get Gorehowl value. At the same time, sometimes it's the best thing to do if you don't have anything else. At the same time, this is the first Sylvanas out of 2 that Amaz has, but if he sees this Karen being played, I think he's going to wish he held on to that Sylvanas a little bit longer.
And he gets a silence. This is a pretty important job because now he can silence and Holy Fire the Karen without losing anything. And I think you have to do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Normally, people are not playing Faceless Manipulator now because they had to cut something to include such belchers and unstable ghouls. But still, Kern is just too good on its own.
Again, I think Amaz did end up dropping that Sylvanas, but he didn't get any value in return. I guess he soaked up a shield slam. It's a little
Yeah, I feel like
disappointing because I think he could have gotten much more better value out of that.
yeah, definitely. But I agree with you. Like this Sylvanas was a smart play to kind of like bait out the Gorehal to be able to follow up with Harrison Jones. Unfortunately for Amaz, there was no Gorehal in Xixo's hand. Cabal Shadow
Okay,
Priest doing the work,
not
slowing
bad.
Inventor.
So essentially, Notice Avenger was just 4 mana, draw a card, nothing else happens.
Yeah, but still, like looking at this board and at both players' hands, there is no immediate way to win this game. It's all about the board state. Oh, Sylvanas. Wait,
Whoa, second Sylvanas to take a third Sylvanas, so Amaz will have 3 Sylvanases throughout the course of the game if he makes a play for this.
you can actually Sylvanas Shadow Ward Death to take the third Sylvanas.
Yep.
That's pretty
But the
nice.
problem is you might extend into Brawl, and then the Sylvanas might die again anyways. That's 3 Sylvanas dying on your board, and you don't get anything.
Yeah, that would be pretty sad. And yeah, you have to account for one Brawl at least. Like, Brawl is just too good to not play it. I feel like he's going to do it. Wait, is he going to do it or not?
Ooh.
He kind of doesn't
Okay.
have to. Oh
This is
man,
nice. You know,
this is this is the standard priest. Like only priest can do it. Just turn 10, pass. Dude, it's like you don't do anything. This is so counterintuitive. How many decks can do it? Like just don't do anything on turn 10 and be comfortable with what you have.
I think he wants the Sylvanas to attack into it, even bait more removal from this. And the best part is if he loses everything he has on the board anyways, then Shadow or Death, he still can kind of target on the Sylvanas. Amaz draws a Lotheb. Again, he has Lotheb and Sylvanas reunited once more.
Yeah, and definitely Xixo would not expect those cards right now. But
Yep.
can he use them for his benefit? The
You know,
problem
actually,
is now.
something interesting to note too is now that Sylvanas' Death Rattle has triggered, the second Sylvanas, I believe, is superior to the first one, unless there's a minion that you don't want to lose first. But the second Sylvanas might have a chance to take whatever the first Sylvanas takes if they tie. So Amaz might be trying to time his Sylvanas. That way, he doesn't lose much.
That would be actually pretty hard to do with so many other minions on board that with the 1/2 and a 2/1.
Well, it could be a possibility. Amaz is going to go for what looks like to be a board clear opportunity.
Are you going to heal your? You're probably not going to heal the free one because you want it dead to not lose it to Sylvanas.
Whoa, uh-oh. I think Amaz hesitated because I think he miscalculated the ability to clear.
Yeah, I also feel like he actually thought about clearing the free 2 as well.
Yikes. I think that he might have rushed a little bit without thinking completely through what he had to do. Uh-oh, and now he's running out of time. He's got to make a decision on how he's supposed to play this one out. Oh boy. He has to smite. He's going to play Loteb and hope for the best, but that also leaves the Sylvanas up with 5 or with 1 health, and that he can attack pretty easily into it and get a decent trade. Depends on how things are. This did not go as planned.
A fun fact: you can still play Brawl, even after playing Lothab.
Yeah,
Xixo can still play Brawl.
and take the Lothar for himself. Why not?
Would you? No, it's not. It's not a valid
No,
play.
no, no. If the 1/1 survives, then actually
just-
nothing gets
Yeah,
accomplished.
you just kill the Sylvanas with the Taskmaster. It's just a much better play and get the 5/5 Lothab. It doesn't look good for Amaz right now if he doesn't get Okanai Shadow Priest. He dropped to 16. He doesn't have a good clear in here. And Xixo has still a lot of cards. And now with a 1/3, even if there is a... Oh my god, there is a Ragnaros, but it's too late.
I think you drop Harrison Jones here. At least you get 2 cards. That's one thing that Xixo played a little bit recklessly because there are a lot of warriors, if they're afraid of Harrison Jones, they always wait for the weapon after the turn's over, so that way they don't get Harrison Jones.
Yeah, that was a slight misplay here. Netting Amaz 2 more cards.
which could make the difference. Ooh,
Well,
thought
Amaz
steal,
can
but
still kill the 5/5, and then the board is not that big. It's like just a
Yep.
2/2, 1/1, and a 1/3.
that's right. And he's slightly out of range, I believe, of a Cruel Taskmaster plus Gromosh, which was very critical. His opponent would have been able to potentially end the game right there.
How much damage is it even? That's
That's
12?
16 damage.
That's so close.
It's very close, but not enough. And Amaz being able to heal himself while killing out Lotheb was one of the ways to survive. Xixo drops Ragnaros. Either target, honestly, is okay. But Harrison
But
Jones
yeah.
would be nice.
Ragnaros is so powerful in here.
Oh, but
Priest.
Amaz picks up a Soul Priest, which allows him to potentially go for some board clears. Does it? Hold
Oh
on.
yeah, this is a board cue for sure. It's you can drop Soul Priest and then you can heal the 1/1 and then attack into Ragnaros with 5/4. But this is not enough. It's not like survival. It's just clear and you're dead next turn.
Because you don't know if your opponent has Gromosh. Let's see what he
Gore
thought
Howl.
steals. He gets a Gore Howl. That's not useful. Oh, and Maz almost missteps here, but he has to kind of go for this full board clear, and at least he gets this done, but the Ragnaros hitting the face has costed Amaz the game because he only has 6 left, and Gromosh will be able to finish it, or a Gore Howl to the face.
Xixo can definitely use the 6 left.
Nice puns, bro. I love it.
I tried.
It took me a second to register.
Sure. It's like a big Gromosh anyway. Gromosh and Gorehowl. By the way, or just use Ancestral Spirit with Sylvanas and maybe Harvest Golems, but there are not that many big targets because most of the new combo shamans, they're using Earth Elemental or, well, even if you, or Leroy as well. So right now, this deck that Amaz is running is, I guess it's stable, but I don't feel it has enough of push, like burst potential. He doesn't even run Lava Burst in here.
Well, he has Doomhammer. That's one way to burst.
Oh
But
yeah. that's a
usually
good way to
Shaman
burst.
has multiple ways of doing it because one of them often gets shot down. Like Doomhammer is often used as removal, so you have to rely on Alec here. Or maybe you don't even draw one of those two, and you have to have one in order to kind of burst your opponent down.
And here Xixo is getting Armor Smith, which is super important to get early game.
Just whack away at totems, give your opponent as much headache as possible, and keep armoring up.
Acolyte of Pain is also very important. So on the other hand, Amaz has Harvest Golem, Flame Tomb Totem. It looks pretty good. I mean, right now he won't be able to use Flame Tomb Totem to kill his own egg and net himself an Arubian. But still, his hand looks pretty okay-ish. On the other hand, he has a lot of spells, so I guess he would love to get those Haunted Creepers, maybe the Baron as well. Like, Harvest Golem, I think Baron Revender is such a good card in this deck with Nerubian Egg on turn 2, Harvest Golem on turn 3, then Baron on turn 4, which is a 1/7, hard to deal with, and also doubles the death rattle of all the cards you played before them. So if you are able to get this kind of an order in the deck, it might really strengthen the cards that you've played before.
Kind of curious that Amaz used Lightning Bolt instead of the Earth Shock to deal with it, but I think maybe he has better plans for Earth Shock. Normally, Earth Shock denies the draw, which is really nice. Also, kind of curious that Xixo attacks the Healing Totem. He wants to prevent any attack into it with something like a Flame Tongue, which makes sense. But of course, then he misses that 1 damage. So there's a lot of these small little micro decisions that people might be confused and going, huh? Why the heck did he just do that? Did he just miss 1 damage to the face? But these guys are trying to play around certain things so that way, the Armor Smith gets value in the future. And he's doing it again. In case his opponent has something like Flame Tongue, he wants to make sure that his Healing Totem has to give up something more.
This is such a cool play because on one side it looks like a misplay because why do you attack the Healing Totem? But on the other hand, there is a lot of strategy coming into this. And it actually works.
Yep, it does, because now the Flame Tongue Totem has to make a tough trade into that. But at the same time, Amaz does have that Harvest Golem to pick up value, and is now able to build the board and reinforce it. So Xixo's plan did not work despite him trying to play around these things.
But there is a brawl, like where I really like the trades that Amaz did, and he stabilized with a very nice board. There is a brawl. The brawl, on the other hand, is a pretty dangerous card. If the 4/4 stays, Amaz will be left with a 4/4 and a 2/1 token.
Yeah, that looks pretty bad. I think you got to put something on the board. Lotheb is kind of useless because of the trade and the timing of it's pretty weak. So I kind of think Black Knight does make the most sense. And again, Xixo has played Warrior so often that he knows how to beat a tougher matchup like Shaman, especially if you've taken out cards like Baron Geddon, which hasn't been played in a while in Control Warrior. And that was one of your best ways to respond to some of this early pressure.
This was also a sick mind game because this board was like really a brawly board. Like you wanted to brawl that, and Xixo didn't. So it gives the signal, hey, I don't have a brawl because I have to play the Black Knight to kill your totem, which gives me nothing. So right now, this brawl might be really good. Now you have to brawl. Like, no way.
This is a great brawl. I think you can make a case of whether or not you attack with Black Knight, so that way you increase the chances of him surviving. But I think you have the ability to remove anything anyways. One of the wolves do end up surviving, which is kind of nice for the Fiery War Axe. At least it wasn't in the Nerubian. That was the worst case scenario. And Xixo has almost completely cleared the board. And Amaz doesn't have much to continue follow-up, but he did pick up Doomhammer.
His burst, his finisher.
But how much are you afraid of something like Harrison Jones?
Well, basically now I would just play Feral Spirit. I just seen Brawl, and yeah, it's pretty bad because now he's left with all those spell cards again. So it will be hard. It will be hard to push the board. That's why this Shaman deck is really weird. Like I'm not sure how it really works.
Well, you sacrifice a lot of solid meaty creatures for combo potential, and that's one of its drawbacks, but also one of the coolest parts about playing the deck in general. You can get these insane Baron Rivendare combos, but when you draw Baron Rivendare and you have nothing else, like we saw the previous game that Amaz played Shaman, he had Baron, but he had no Death Rails on board, so it was effectively useless until the last card draw, which was Sylvanas. But check this out, he has Doomhammer up. If you draw something like Rockbiter Lightning Bolts over the next couple of turns, he can just straight up win with just the draw amount of damage being pushed out.
With Rockbiter, he will be able to deal like 10 more damage. I mean, he's pretty safe with 29 health, so he will be able to attack at least 2 more times with a Doomhammer. Like, attack for 4 next turn. Doomhammer is so good versus Warrior if there is no Harrison Jones, because you just keep dealing that points of damage, like 4 points of damage every turn. And there is a Fire Elemental, a pretty good card.
Wow, that's great. That's almost exactly what he wanted, because Amaz will be able to shred the rest of the armor from Xixo, and he has to have executes basically the only way he can deal with it. Fortunately for Xixo, he does have it, but it's not exactly an easy way to activate it either. He might have to use his Whirlwind unless he picks up something like a Cruel Taskmaster.
The Shield Slams are basically dead cards. I mean, he can armor up and use Shield Slam to damage the Elemental, and he gets his Serra. But there is not enough mana to remove the board, and he has to defend himself. He only has 13 points of health.
This is tough for the Warrior. But this is exactly why Amaz is picked Shaman, to kind of give a tough time to the class. Harvest Golem, it's something on the board. At least it's not something. Like another Lightning Bolt. If it was just another Lightning Bolt, it just sits there.
Amaz can just take his time. I feel he's, right now he's feeling good. Like, there are no cards in the Warrior's hand, only 3 cards. It's not enough. Like, even if there's like Alex Strauss and stuff, you're not afraid about it because you're getting really close to winning the game. Ragnaros is... Whoa. I'm not sure about Ragnaros.
He wants to bait out, he wants to bait out Hex. Xixo realizes he's so down in the cards, and he hits the 2-3, by the way, which is nice for follow-up plays if he has things like Undead Ghoul and Whirlwind. So that was actually pretty ideal for Xixo. I completely see what you said. Ancestral Spirit.
1 turn late.
Reincarnation. Oh, that's too bad. Man, imagine if he had Ancestral Spirit with his Fire Elemental, and to be able to make it so powerful.
The funny thing is, like, right now, Amaz is kind of out of cards. Like, his hand does nothing. potentially only has the 2/1 token that can do damage, and Xixo is drawing cards. And Sludge Vulture is so important.
Nice.
Oh my god, this is a
And
huge
Lightning
draw.
Storm might be able to change it. Amaz top decks an Azure Drake, which is an important draw. It builds it up, and that spell power can completely wreck the board with a Flame Tongue Totem to trade. Amaz is insta-calling on this one. No need to really think about it because he has the potential to go for a 4 board clear and pick up
Definitely
really
to the board. The thing is, like, is he even going for face? Maybe he has enough.
nicely
He has, like,
done.
6, 10. No, he's 1 damage off lethal, kind of.
Is he
Okay,
really?
There is a taunt, so he's not 1 damage off lethal, but he would be.
Okay.
If there wouldn't be a taunt, it would be like 6, 10. Well, right now it looks pretty amazing for Amaz. Like, this is why Azure Drake is so important. Like, Amaz didn't have those cards in hand, but he got the Fire Elemental, he got the Azure Drake. Those cards are so important as a follow-up to your opening. Right now he has a really big board, and Xixo can't do anything. Even if he plays Ysera, that won't change the board. Using Shield Slam to kill the Azuric, it just looks sad.
Yeah, you had to double shield slam there. You know, Xixo, the right move was to go for something like Ysera, but unfortunately he didn't know that. He wanted to play as if Ysera was his way to climb back into the game after he draws out all the removal of things like Earthshock and Hex. So he tried to go for his comeback, but he waited a little bit too long, and now Amaz has climbed back with a ferocity to end this game, as I believe this should be it.
Oh man, that was really well played by Amaz. He was
Nicely
just
done.
consistently grinding this win. I felt like from turn 1 he was really like doing it 1 damage at a time. And because there is no my favorite card. Nobody's playing it. What happened?
Leper Gnomes?
Yes. We haven't seen a single one.
Good. I hope they all die. The Leper Gnomes. They
Thank you.
They should have a battle cry, deal 1 damage to itself.
If you're a Nimsh, it deals 2 damage to yourself instead of your opponent.
I don't want Leper Gnomes ever. They're just the most annoying card, especially when you're in the phase when you're playing Rogue and whatnot, and Leper Gnomes just do insane damage. 4 damage for 1 mana.
Perfect
God.
aggro card.
Gosh, I can't handle it.
So the game has started, and we are going to see the mulligan of both players.
Or will we?
I hope we will.
The drama suspense intensifies.
The plot thickens.
I'm sure the mulligans will come up. Actually, this is a good opportunity while we wait for the mulligans to come up to also figure out what's going on with the giveaway. There is going to be a PC given away at the end of the tournament. You see in the bottom right corner of the broadcasting team, it says enter to win. All you have to do is type !giveaway.
I did.
Okay, I think there's a little bit of a pause in the video. Oh, there we go. We're live.
I get it.
Didn't see what was pushed away, but we do see the Buzzard, which can be a very valuable card. Unleash the Hound is extremely potent in this matchup because Shaman always tends to build the board with things like their hero power.
Reincarnate hype. His Reincarnate, he has Harvest Golem as well, so maybe we can see some action there.
I'm trying to think of Reincarnate's uses also offensively, because one thing that's really interesting, and we always bring this up in things like turn 2, is that Reincarnate is kind of like an unsilenced and silenced card simultaneously. You can remove buffs, but at the same time, if your creature gets silenced, you can also unsilence it and bring it back to normal. So I wonder, what you can do in this matchup specifically. It's a very versatile card that has yet untapped potential.
Definitely, I'm definitely looking to see how Amaz is going to use this card. Unfortunately, he only has 1 copy in his deck to, I guess, try things out. But on the other hand, Xixo has a sick opening with so many good cards in here, dealing as much damage as possible. And this matchup, from Hunter's perspective, is all about damage. You want to deal as much damage as possible because Shaman has no heal, and with double kill command in your deck and hero power, you can just win before... well, it's about stabilizing the board as well. You will fight for it, you will stabilize the board, but and Shaman will win the board fight at some point. But if you continue dealing damage for as long as possible, after Shaman wins the board, you just win the game. And that's this matchup. Pretty tough for Shaman.
Definitely. It can be really nerve-wracking, especially just like you said, as you continue to rack up minions and you're still awaiting your opponent's inevitable ability to draw an insane amount of cards while being able to remove everything you have with Hunter's Mark. Xixo, by the way, uses a kill command early here. Don't think he minds as long as he's able to continue to push out damage. He's saving his buzzard so that way he draws into Unleash and wait for a better opportune time.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. Normally, Shaman has to build up the board. They want to have 3 minutes at least. And if you keep Buzzard and if you don't show it to your opponent, you can even force Shaman to not place totems, which is a pretty nice play here.
Well, this is like its own Unleash of its kind. If you draw things like the Timberwolf, you're all of a sudden drawing the 3 cards the turn anyways. Oh, that
There is
stings.
an Unleash.
That is
One.
unfortunate.
Turn too late. But still, this card will be pretty good anyway. You will be able to get the value. And Web Spinner. Web Spinner is... a lot of people said that Web Spinner is too random and it's not a good card because it's just a 1/1 and gives you a random minion. But thanks to cards like Buzzard, Web Spinner actually does a lot of work and it's a very good constructed card.
No, I don't believe those people. With people who say Web Spinner is too random to work, also probably like innervate hero power and then pass.
Yeah, or like...
Those are the same kinds of people you see.
Holy Lights. Or not Holy Light, Holy
Coin
Smite.
holy light. The light shall burn you.
So being Amaz, what do? You definitely want
well,
to
you
kill the
gotta kill
Buzzard.
that buzzard. You don't want to let it live. Earth Shock is nice too, to remove your ability to use any of these death rattles.
Oh
Take
wow,
your
he
voice
misclicked. Oh, definitely silence the Web Spinner.
No, the Web Spinner most likely would draw Xixo a pretty awful card sometimes. Like, the actual chances of getting a good beast, I think, someone did calculations, and it's definitely below 50%. It's like 30-something for like a beast that you normally put in a 100 deck. But that's part of the fun, because sometimes you see uses of cards like Silverback Patriarch when you're trying to prevent damage from like a Druid combo or something.
You
It's
know what?
interesting.
We were actually kidding about silencing the Web Spinner, but maybe it's not the worst play because Web Spinner is always giving you a card, and Haunted Creeper is giving you tokens, and it's easy to deal with the 1/1 tokens that you know they are coming. And if you're not silencing the Web Spinner, anything can come out of it. Like he gives a card that can actually turn around the game. Like giving a Kodo would be pretty devastating, right?
It would be, considering that it is Shaman. By the way, he will pick up good value, but then this sets up for a more powerful Unleash the Hounds. Oh,
And a
speaking of-
Kodo.
Wow, actually Kodo can do complete work here if you kill off the 1/1 token and you snipe the Flame Tongue Totem.
But what's the follow-up? I mean, it looks sweet, but what do you do then? You can also unleash, right? You can wait. Do you kill your own Web Spinner into Azure Drake, get Buzzard from Web Spinner, and then unleash the Hounds? I would do it.
Wow, that is next level plays. And if that's what happens, I am going to laugh I'm going to laugh my
Get a
butt off.
Buzzard?
Oh, close. It was a 2-mana cost minion, but why not?
That would be so sick. Oh man,
Right.
Amaz is getting low in here. 10 points of health. 1 kill command is out, but 2nd kill command is still there. And Hunter's hero power, steady shot, is so annoying. Also, Amaz is no closer to winning this game with...
Spellpower Totem would be immaculate, and he gets it. That is really important. So now Feral Spirits can set up a stronger wall of defense. Killing off this Kodo was very valuable to protect his wolves. And he is going to try to fight back from this really tough position. He still has no way to directly win the game. Xixo can win the game in 5 turns at least.
Double Huntmaster is so sick in here. Just clear the wolves. There is no Lightning Storm in Amaz's hand, and this board is so powerful. What can he even do? He has to play Fire Elemental and kill one of the 4 frees. He can clear one of the dogs, and then he's just dead?
Reincarnate actually puts one of those dogs to a 1/1. Interestingly enough. That might reduce some of the damage. He might have to do that, actually. Just because he needs to reduce the amount of damage, and that's what he goes for.
It's kind of like a silence, but...
But this is an act of desperation. Like Reincarnate is there to do these kinds of things as an emergency measure.
Oh my god, Iron Beak, that's it? Is it?
Wait, with
It's
Huffer,
almost
it's over. With Leok, he's one damage off lethal.
Oh my god, so close. But how do you win this game being Amaz?
He has to do 27 damage from the hand.
You have to fire a mental your face to prevent your opponent from killing you.
Don't give him the satisfaction. Well, Amaz will concede, and Xixo jumps up to a lead 2-1. So
the good news is for all the Amaz fans that Amaz's build is actually very good versus Hunter. Amaz is running double explosive trap. He is running Leo as well. So it seems like his build is pretty good in this situation with the cards that can actually stop Xixo from his rampage and then just kill Xixo in turn. Xixo is running Freezing Trap, which is not a problem for Hunter. You can activate Freezing Trap with the cards like Web Spinners and the Stone Tusk Boar. So it looks good for Amaz, and he even gets a coin.
Do you mulligan away High Main? I guess you want a better start. But
you do.
I thought High Main is such a powerful card in this matchup because the first it feels a lot similar to Ancient of Lore. If you drop it first, you're in the driver's seat so convincingly.
But if you're losing, the High Main is just doing nothing on board. It's like if you're behind with if your opponent has a really explosive start with Web Spinner turn 2, something Web Spinner turn 1, turn 2 something, turn 3 Animal Companion, and you're sitting with like double High Main and Kodo in your hand, you will just lose even though you have those powerful cards.
Fair enough. Well, he gets a High Main anyways. Both these players have it, which again could play directly into just a board control High Main battle. Xixo used tracking on turn 1, and he has Starving Buzzer, which I feel like is the logical thing to do. You need these card draws early on, so that way you're able to get into those really important cards to seize the board.
On the other hand, it's really painful to actually like, lose kill command, so we will have to know that Xixo is down with only 1 kill command in his deck, which will be pretty important. What did Amaz... Did Amaz use tracking as well?
He did. In fact, both of these guys have trackings for the first 2 turns, which is quite hilarious. Although Amaz has the opportunity of coining out Animal Companion and then coining the following. Or
the Web Spinner's out.
Aw. Understandable, though.
Yeah, Kodo is just too good. Versus cards like Leok, if your opponent gets Leok and you're able to play Kodo early, oh my god, a Huffer.
That's a card. That's a card that Amaz needed, Huffer. And this is the only way Xixo could deal with it. Unless he did something like Kill Command.
3 mana, 8 points of damage.
At least it stopped there.
But still, it's a huge development for Amaz. This game is a race as well because it's a really tough game. When you extend with minions, your opponent can actually Buzzard Unleash, which is pretty bad. So you definitely want to play cards like 1 minion at a time. You want to have that Huffer, you want to play Savannah High Main on an empty board, and then just go from there. If you overextend, if you play like 3 minions, your opponent will definitely try to Buzzard Unleash there.
Alright, well Xixo rolls Amisha. And Amaz could push through it with Houndmaster, but it will take his entire board. So, fortunately, Xixo makes a very tough choice. He attacks into this 1-1, and that's a very intelligent to play around Houndmaster. A good move from Xixo.
Do you still play Houndmaster? I guess you do. Now the Kodo does nothing. So this is a pretty nice play, actually.
I think you gotta seize the board control from this point on. He top decks Unleash the Hounds. He gets
Hunter Mark.
A Hunter's Mark. Very important for Xixo. He's taking control of the board, taking control of this game. But he's also making himself weak to something like Unleash the Hounds.
There is no Unleash the Hounds in Amaz's hand.
He's got a young Dragonhawk.
Young Dragonhawk is just useless. Well, he can draw a card out of it for like 1 mana, draw a card, but that's not the thing he wanted.
Nope. Instead, he's gonna go for a Houndmaster, but the most painful part is that this Dragonhawk is a 3/3. It can get killed, but his opponent's Buzzard has been left alive.
And there is a young Dragonhawk as well. Young Dragonhawk battles. Yeah, but definitely Hyman
Really?
here. It's just Hyman
Oh
is
my
just too
god.
good.
Yo, Dragon Hawk battles. That is so funny.
New meta
Do you
game.
I think you gotta go for the board clear here. It's just you then you have Jaime as an extremely powerful card, and you're starting to win back the race.
Oh
Now
yeah, definitely.
Amaz is in a super tough position. He's dropping his own high main, but his opponent can respond to it with something like kill commands and then clears. You never know, so you feel awful playing the second high main.
The thing is like you have being a Moss here, you have Flare. So the best response to like high main is obviously a freezing trap. But he has Flare, so he can deal with this. Oh
Oh,
my god, and he has Buzzer Unleash.
he also has Buzzer Unleash. Amaz can turn his back. He can draw so many cards right now.
We just have to wait for the Buzzer Unleash and see what he's going to draw.
Yep, well, he first plays the Hunter's Mark so that we can draw 2 cards off the kill with high main trade. And then he unleashes for 3 more cards. Maybe he draws into Timberwolf, and then he's able to clear the board, basically.
This is a sick trade. You draw 2 cards of your own high main, and you draw 1 more card because of his high main being dead. This is a sick
Ooh.
turnaround. Look,
It
look what he
is.
just did. He just turned the board.
Able to go for the kill the 2/2s, and now puts the onus back on Xixo.
And you also know that one of the Unleash the Hounds from your opponent was already used because Xixo used it last turn, or like 2 turns before. So you're pretty comfortable like overextending here a bit.
Yep. Completely agree. How does
So
Xixo move from here?
Well, he can play a Kodo if he really wants to. Animal Companion first to see what you get.
Okay, the Misha does set up a very important wall. And in fact, he's able to answer with really strong minions. Amaz has a lot of tools at his disposal. But
Would
how
you
do
use
kinda pair it together?
explosive trap? A very important thing to note is that Amaz has an Iron Beak Owl, and which is a great card to actually deal with the Savannah High Main. Iron Beak and Kill Command, 5 mana deal with the High Main, so that's a pretty good combo. And here, well, it's tricky. I mean, you can actually attack with a 2/2 into 4/2, play Explosive Trap, and play Stranglethorn Tiger, so that you set up a board and you know that you won't take much damage next turn.
Yeah, unless your opponent has... But he's played both Houndmasters, right? Oh, no, that was Amaz. Amaz had both Houndmasters already. So Xixo does have the possibility of Houndmastering.
The only thing
That
you're afraid
combo.
of being, the only thing being afraid of being a mouse here is Flare, because Flare, if you do the Stranglethorn Tiger plus Explosive Trap play, and Xixo has Flare, that will be so much damage coming your way
Yep.
that you can actually lose at that point.
11. That's 11 base damage, but it seems like he might go for this play indeed, and I think your suggestion was spot on. This is the best way you can to answer the board while setting up your following turn. Stranglethorn Tiger is a 5 damage latent push for damage. Xixo picks up a freezing trap that's not Flare.
Yeah, being Xixo is a pretty obvious Explosive Trap. But what else can you do?
Well, you can try to build up the board. I'm actually surprised he didn't try to trigger the trap first, but it seems like he's just gonna not trigger it whatsoever. Maybe he can draw into something like Flare in the following turns.
Now being a mouse, how do you actually activate the freezing trap?
Yeah, you don't have the luxury of playing a spell and killing Loteb and then dropping a minion. So this freezing trap will still do work. And this Tiger, as a result, will be stuck unless he's able to kind of counteract that. Does he have... But
The good thing about the Tiger is like it will be stuck, but it's still in stealth. It's not like just an auctioneer that's concealed
Yeah.
and then it reveals itself next turn. So he can take his time.
Okay.
I like the kill command in here. He's winning this board. Then being Xixo, you're kind of forced to use the trap in here and then probably drop high main and some minions.
Whoa, Amaz is on 4 cards, by the way. So he has to kind of figure out a way to win with what he has here. And now that kill command is not available to him, he doesn't have a way to easily guarantee removal on that high main. And that Haunted Creeper provides such a conundrum of a 50-50 coin flip that Amaz could just maybe blow out the game from this point on, or actually maybe just stay alive because he still doesn't have a way to win, or he might just die.
Well, Xixo only has 2 cards in hand, so being Amaz here, if you're able to clear this board, you will be putting yourself in a really good position.
Okay, well, he equips. He first tests to see if it's misdirection. And he knows now it's freezing trap for sure. He's going for it.
He's going for 50%.
Oh, this is such a big moment.
This might be a huge swing.
Oh, the deadly shot lands.
My God,
he wins the 50-50. That could be series defining. Depends on how the rest of this game pans out, because Amaz might have the damage in order to finish this game. It really depends on the next couple of draws. He only has 3 cards left, but he does have the Shanglethorn Tiger.
He gets a turtle, but this is like turtle does nothing right now.
Yeah. Xixo has to kind of remove.
Position.
Animal Companion for Amaz. First, he has to kind of trigger the freezing trap because he knows it is, and then let's see what he gets from the Animal Companion.
That tiger was sitting there for 3 turns at least, just prowling the shadows.
Waiting. All right, well, what's it going to be on the Animal Companion? Is he going to put something like Huffer? If he has Huffer, he can put his opponent at 1 and force him to be able to kill him.
Double Huffer from Amaz.
Yeah, he can do 14 damage, I believe. Because he's 1 damage off lethal, but that puts his opponent on a guaranteed clock for the next turn. He's not going to play another minion because he doesn't want to give his opponent the ability to play Unleash the Hounds. Xixo top decks the kill command. That's 5 damage. Plus the 4 and the 2 from the hero power, but that's not enough. Young Dragonhawk is going to witness the downfall of his master. Oh, he played in the wrong order. Hunter's Mark should have went to the face at the beginning of his turn. Misplay from Xixo. He concedes.
He tried it.
We're going to game number 5. The nature of Zoo. Before, Real scaled it back a lot and added cards like Ancient Watcher, Taunts, and Molten Giants. And it seems like Xixo has continued to streamline it to be more aggressive. Use things like Void Terrors and
Dark Iron Dwarf.
Yeah, the Void Terror is supposed to activate something like the Void Caller and then summon a demon. And not to mention, if you get something like the Nerubian Egg, you have a 4/4, you have a whatever the hell Void Terror is because it's buffed, and you also have something like a Doomguard maybe coming out. So it's powerful swings can happen with this deck. And when it happens on turn 3 or 4, sometimes it just shuts the game out.
This is so sick. Now we have so many archetypes for Warlock. It's like you're facing Warlock and you never know. What am I facing? Is it a Zoo? Is it a Demon Lock? Is it a Hand Lock? Like, how do I even mulligan against it?
Yeah, I think if Amaz is paying close attention, though, he definitely keeps his Exposure Trap. Nice call. And he will be able to pay attention. That Hunter's Mark also might be a ticket to survive against those really early big minions from Void Terror.
I'm so confused right now because basically Hunter is okay-ish. I mean, okay, Hunter is great versus Handlock, and Hunter, the recent builds that we've seen, the mid-range Hunter is bad versus Zoo. How does Hunter actually fare against Demon Lock, which is kind of in the middle?
Clue, Nipch. I'm not even going to pretend like I know the answer to that one.
It's a very interesting question. Right now it seems like you're facing Zoo with the Voidwalker and the Haunted Creeper, but you have this Explosive Trap. Normally, when you're a Hunter player, oh my God, he has an Emperor card. Okay, he got it from Web Spinner. I was just confused for a moment.
That's what I was oohing about, because it's surprisingly good against a lot of these smaller creatures. The Emperor Cobra, we don't see it. Plus, if it gets Houndmastered, anything that it touches dies. So a mid-range creature will die. Unfortunately, we do see a Soulfire from Xixo. I think he's going to Soulfire this. Or will he?
Would you really Soulfire it with a Voidwalker in hand and a combo? You definitely not Soulfire it.
Oh, he might go for the juggles. Oh man, these 2 juggles might hit the Emperor Cobra, and it does land. That is so big.
But this board is so vulnerable to the Explosive Trap. Oh my God, it's so good for Amaz right now.
I can't believe those 2 juggles hit. Those are 3 juggles.
Sick juggles. What can you do?
That was a 1 in 8 chance. Unfortunately, I think that's payback for what Amaz did to Xixo in the previous game. So
With double huffer and stuff. Oh yeah,
all's
definitely.
fair in love and war, huh?
Right now they're looking at Xixo hand. I'm so amazed with like King Makla, Voiter. What is even going on in this hand? He is going for the power overwhelming Void Terror play, which is pretty nice. But Amaz actually has a deadly shot, so it might be devastating for Xixo.
Yeah, and that, even if he didn't have deadly shot, he still had a hunter's mark and maybe the ability to answer it. So this 10-7 will get obliterated, and this is where he has the tools to maybe climb back in the game. Zoo's already starting to run a little bit low on Steam, but King Mukla,
And another Void Terror.
another Void Terror.
King Mukla is an okay card, but on the other hand, you get those you give those bananas to your
yikes.
opponent.
He tapped after he played King Mukla. Maybe he wanted to coin out the Voidwalker instead. Xixo playing a little bit quickly. If you know you're going to tap, you want to tap first to see if it changes the play.
Amaz has a very strong board. How do you even deal with this board
no.
being Xixo here?
He's
And
taking
Xixo's getting
damage
so
too.
low.
He's going to take 8 damage at least, 10 from the hero power.
This is bananas. Literally. He can definitely play Animal Companion as well to see
Sure.
the spiders.
Command.
Unfortunately,
Kill Command could finish the game, I think.
spiders unfortunately are not beasts. That's why like Animal Companion into Leok wouldn't be that good, but definitely you can take your time here.
Well, Leok would still be great though. Leok buffs all your minions, not just beasts.
Oh yeah, you're right. Not only beasts. So
You're thinking Timberwolf. Timberwolf only buffs the beasts.
my bad.
All good, my brother. And I think, no, it's a really easy thing to confuse sometimes, but I think Leok would still make him short a little bit of damage. Now Xixo is tapping. He's trying to get value off this Voidwalker, but he can't do anything. And Hunter has completely turned the tables. Amaz wins this